Okay, hi Libras, and welcome to your June 2021 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to talk to you about the energies coming in for your month ahead of June. And yes, a very nice, peaceful change in energy output coming in for your sign in this month. It kind of looks like you have a lot of new options coming in and a lot of choices to make this month in June. There's a really big shift in fortune, it looks like, happening for Libra this month. So the feeling of what you're putting most of your energy into, the feeling of even taking on too much or over-energizing yourself, overworking, a feeling of overkill, is something that's coming up for a big transition point this month. The first card that I look to in your reading is the Six of Swords, and my attention is also very much drawn to the World and Ten of Wands. So I think that it's very likely that you're changing jobs this month, or that many Libra people could be very much changing the way that they work, or having a big change in work ethic as well. What I've been feeling for most of the signs this month is that it is very important to not overdo and to not burn out, okay? To not over focus your energy in a way that gets you out of the territory of being able to perceive what you want your life to be. So when we experience burnout, when we experience different levels of energy output that aren't lining up, so we think, okay, when I'm signing up for this, when I'm choosing to work this many hours, I feel like it's right, but then in the actual output process, it feels wrong. You get that feeling of conflict, and this is basically where you end up, where it's like, I'm just maybe not feeling like I trust myself, or not feeling like I'm actually working with my best interests at heart. When I'm signing up to work these hours, or when I'm signing up to volunteer, or signing up or agreeing to do something for another person, it doesn't feel right when it actually comes time to do it. So this is a month, Libra, where you really start to line up what you prepare for versus how you do it, or what you sign up for versus how you execute it. Those things have to really merge together, and you can basically look back over the last 6 months and really compare what has and has not worked to get a better understanding. So Seven of Cups has also come up for you this month. So there's a lot on the horizon, and I think that many Libras are feeling like they have to choose, like they have to, only choose one of the options, okay? And it does feel like you can choose more than you think, but I think you've got to really condense some of the things that you're doing and prepare yourself to take on a lot of new things as well. Basically, I would look to some of the things which are very new, or some of the things which are very wanted for you for a long time, instead of just pursuing the tried and true at this point in time. It feels like you need something uncontextual, like you need something that really grabs your attention and makes you feel excited. So I think that you can very easily this month redo your budget, or save more, or redo some type of expenditure. So time, money, energy being spent differently, okay? And basically you can also be honest with yourself this month. You've got the Moon, the Wheel of Fortune, and the World, 3 major arcana cards going in series chronologically. So you're going from your sense of luck, your sense of prosperity, enjoying the way that life changes, to then seeing the truth, to then seeing also what role illusion or deception has played recently in your life. And then you're having a big ending. You're having a big shift in what your life is really comprising of. So it's basically majorly like awakening symptoms this month. And it's all coming as a form of good luck to you. So as you are seeing these different people for who they really are, as you are just kind of putting a check mark by your to-do list, each item, like it feels like you got a lot to do this month. It feels like, get your life together in June 2021, Libra. It's really that simple. Like, get these things together. Stop keeping yourself in analysis paralysis. Stop taking on things which distract you from actually putting a check mark on your to-do list, but rather adds more things which deviate you away from the things which actually need to be done. Stop playing these games with yourself if you are feeling like that. I'm feeling also from this energy that there might be a tendency to play games with oneself. This is also coming up for Scorpio and Sagittarius too this month, where people really seem to be gambling with their lives, or gambling with their trajectory, gambling with their resources, and ultimately then evading what actually needs to be done. I keep coming back to 10 of Wands. It just puts so many things on your plate. Like, also, I would definitely look at, if you're taking on way too many hours, like you're working more hours than you can handle, you're involved in too many projects, you're having to feel like you're always being physically activated in some way, overstimulating yourself. Because when I'm getting into your energy and when I'm talking, it's moving so fast. Like, it's hard for me to keep up with the way that this energy is moving. And as I try to slow down, it feels like I'm bypassing and missing a few of the details that need to come in. But at the same time, I feel like going so quickly is not also good. So I think that that's a good articulation of your energy right now. You might be afraid to slow down. You might be afraid to really have that stillness. You might be afraid to really allow something to end that's needed to end for a while. So instead, there's like this hyperstimulation that comes in and this overbooking or overdoing or kind of like manic energy coming in. So we're going to talk in the week to week Libras about how you can calm things down a little bit and basically get your life back on track here. And I'll also talk in the extended reading on Patreon about that too. But let's get into this week to week. Let's slow it down. Let's make this easier. I will say before we get into the week to week, you can really actually solve this here. Okay. Like anything that's been an issue, anything that you just can't really figure out, like any looming questions that just have gone unanswered can really be fixed and resolved here with this energy too. Like that quickness, that large amount of energy. Okay, you guys have abundant energy right now, but I'm just kind of afraid that you're just scattering it around and not really using it. It's only a potential. I'm sure some Libras are using it in a great way. But it's easy to scatter the energy instead of concentrating it and actually getting solutions. So as we're moving into the week to week here, week 1, you've got 6 of Swords rooted down by Wheel of Fortune. And the wheel is changing, basically. There's this way that life kind of can turn things that were once really good for us into things that are not good for us anymore, and how it can turn things that were once not good for us into things that are good for us. It's the archetype of the Wheel of Fortune. So I wouldn't rely on past spectrums of like, that person has always been good for me, or that person has always been bad for me, it's like it kind of stagnates and sterilizes and fixes something into a non-living perspective. So you need to really be willing to understand that people change, that the way that culture views certain constructs changes. So that one job that was once so culturally relevant may not feel that way now, and vice versa. Things which used to maybe not, things that used to maybe feel niche and so out of the collective might really start to become commonplace at this point in time. So it's really important that you, if you're a Libra with mutable energy, Sag, Virgo, Pisces, or Gemini, okay, it'll be easier because those signs really get the Wheel of Fortune energy. It's very easy for those signs to work in tandem with the way that life changes like this. But if you've got a lot of fixed energy, a lot of Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, or Aquarius, it's harder to deal with this. It's harder to cope with this. How all of a sudden this one career, which used to be so popular and so prestigious, is now something that is being questioned by a lot of people for, ethical reasons or anything like that. Or vice versa, that niche, different type of thing, which used to really be questioned, is now something that's very prestigious. It's seeming like it's shocking for Libra to see how the scales tip like this. And that's a lot of what your sign deals with is, how things are weighted and measured and seen. So you are measuring things in the first week. Don't be afraid to make the appropriate changes that really get you into that new space that is evocative of who you are now. Don't feel like you've got to be the same person you used to be. Let this be something that, or let your career, let your goals, let your motivations start to line up with who you've become as well. Because also people evolve. We evolve. Individuals evolve. Think back to 10 years ago. Think back, to 2012 and think about what was the pinnacle of my wants back then? What was my biggest goal? For many, many people, that they would not take that for anything at this point in time. Like they would not if given to them for free, accept that anymore as the pinnacle of their lives. And we have to then think about that with the current pinnacles of our lives. Like 10 years from now, is this going to be something that we really think can be timeless? We're kind of seeking timeless things. Jupiter's in Pisces. That's a big theme of my Jupiter in Pisces video that I'm about to put out, is about timeless purpose. So hit the subscribe button below and turn on the notifications if you want to see that video. And comment below, let me know. But yes, we are seeking timeless, especially Libra. Libra is a big time sign. Okay, so week 1, what is a timeless aspect of your life, and how can that be something that really benefits you timelessly? And as you see maybe things which you don't like anymore that you used to like 10 years ago or 20 years ago, whatever, what do you still like? What has withstood the test of time over that time period? That's also a very good territory, and maybe a territory to start moving into. Week 2, you've got 10 of Wands rooted down by the moon. Oh my gosh, Libras, you got to get truthful about what your work is giving to you. You got to get honest with yourself about the energy that you're putting out versus what you're getting back, okay? There is a rose-colored glasses effect perhaps happening on how you're spending energy, how you're spending your energetic resources, and it might not even be what you think it is, okay? So if you've just been thinking like for the past year or 2 years, like, I just need a change in career. I just need a new job. I need a new income source in my life. What's it going to be? Maybe that's not actually what the problem is. Maybe it's within a self-sabotage crisis where you feel the need to question things which are stable in your life because you once had something stable taken from you and you're afraid to lose that control again. Like you'd rather yourself question it than have it taken from you when you've not been concerned about it at all. So definitely look into dynamics like that, okay? And think about if certain things which are very much up at the surface at this point in time, we've gone much deeper. Jupiter's in Pisces. Surface level stuff is maybe not truly representative of what's going on. So the surface conundrum, like I'm just so worried that my business is not what I need it to be, or I'm so worried that I'm not going to make enough money, or that I'm not going to spend my money appropriately, that I'm going to lose control of my booking calendar or my schedule as well. Try to see what's underneath that. Like underneath a tendency to book too many hours for money's sake and not really actually be able to provide quality because of that. Underneath that has nothing to do with a career. It has nothing really to do with working. Underneath that is something relating to scarcity. Underneath that is something relating to not trusting that you will have enough, okay? And it really doesn't have anything to do with career, but it's channeling at the surface through career. So with the second week, you're going to need to take a really honest, hard look at the energy that you're spending. This is not a time to be working 3 jobs, okay? Even 2 jobs is a push for a lot of people. Honestly, some people need to be putting in as little hours as possible at like the 1 job at this point in time. And it's always good to diversify your life in many ways, okay? It's good to have, passive income and all that, if that truly exists. It's good to have different options. Like I'm not saying to decrease your options, but you've got to make sure that you're not tricking yourself about the work behind it. And also, okay, so this is kind of tough, and it's not just Libra, but I think we're going to really see it for Libra right now. Making sure that by taking on too much, you're not blunting the results of everything, okay? So when we've maybe taken on those 2 jobs and that side hustle and that relationship, a mediocrity can emerge in all 7 of those things. It's not funny stuff, but it's something that we got to laugh off, and we can't really be upset at ourselves about that. To a degree, we've not really given quality in any certain area because we've been so worried about scarcity that we took on so much to have different options. So we're really being pushed by the universe energetically right now to refine, to really create something of beauty and value. And it's also true that sometimes those things come through small amounts of work, and sure, we could have many other things that we're doing on and create something valuable and refined amongst many other things. That's not impossible, but you want to make sure that that's what's happening if you are taking on a lot of different things, and that not everything is kind of getting blunted or suffering because of overdoing, overtaking on. Okay, so look at all those things in the second week, and don't be afraid to get some things off your plate. You know, like I'm think that a lot of signs are struggling with this right now, but did you know that abundance can't heal scarcity by itself? Did you know that people with a big poverty wound or scarcity wound actually would not be healed with a $10 million bank deposit? Okay, these are not things that physical material changes actually heal. So this is where we get into that surface versus depth problems, where we might think on the surface that if I work all these hours, if I do all these different things, if I make all this money, that's going to heal my scarcity mindset. That's going to heal my wound in poverty. It doesn't. And there's so many testimonials from people who have, been overnight successes or had some kind of huge return, and how it just disappeared and how it was just gone very quickly. Easy come, easy go type of stuff, because there was a deeper issue than what they actually were owning or having in their lives, but they let it kind of masquerade as that. So that is really the thing right now. You might have some things to replace as well in the second week as a more mundane message. You might have slow or like problemed machinery, problemed computers, broken down things, which might need replacing. So that could also be adding to your need to feel like you need to make more money, all that type of stuff too. So think about if you can also make your life more safe at that time, or more well-oiled, like the cogs of your life operating better. Okay, week 3 Libras, you have the 7 of Cups rooted down by the World. And I think it represents a big turning point for you in the 3rd week of June. I think that moving into Cancer season really re-examines you at a very personal place. So I definitely think that mother figures might really be coming up for you, especially in Cancer season. And I think that it represents maybe a new chapter with a mother figure, or a new chapter with how you correlate to your own motherhood as well. So the first half of June has nothing really to do with this. The first half of June is about what you're doing, what you're also getting security and stability from. And then it's a big turning point in the 3rd week, and it becomes more emotional and more about how you're then holding yourself. But isn't it interesting how these things connect? Like how maybe our relationships with our mother, but other parental figures as well, mother or father wounds, can drastically have an impact on how secure we feel monetarily or materially. So it becomes more emotional in the 3rd week. You have some kind of type of choice to make in the 3rd week too. There might be 7 different things. There might be 7 different areas. What are these 7 different areas, Libra, that need a conclusion on, that need a stamp, that need done, checked off the to-do list? That's what I keep seeing for you psychically this month, is a long, long list of items, and check, 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 instead of ruminating. No more rumination. We've got to actually execute completion processes here. Because, and the world, the 3rd week is when things need to be done. You might have 7 different things you need to check off your to-do list by the 3rd week of June. Okay. So if that's significant to you, definitely take that synchronicity timeline coming in there. 4th week, you have King of Wands rooted down by 6 of Pentacles reversed. So you are creatively overcoming contractual relationships. What do I mean by that? More specifically, emotional bonds that are kind of contractual. So the definition of certain relationships, the definition of certain terms within relationships is something that needs more of a fiery outlook. Okay, so Sagittarius, Leo, Aries people might be good to be around at that time, or it might be Sag, Aries, Leo people that you are going through this with, where it's kind of okay, what is this relationship? What is this? What am I giving to this relationship? What are you giving to this relationship? And does this make sense? Is this fair? Is there really an honest outlook on what this relationship is? I'm seeing that coming up for a lot of people in the month of June. Also with past orientation to relationships, as we move into Cancer season, we start to sometimes look at the past relationships or how we've been in the past to then heal that and to level up and to become better people in and of ourselves. So looking at how you have portrayed yourself in relationships might be good in the fourth week, and basically overcoming that and becoming more angelic in some way, or becoming truly more integrity based. As that, again, that's not just a Libra thing, but that's kind of something that everyone's going through right now, is a call to be, it's not a matter of being a better person. It's more of like a call to transcend previous painful output. Okay, so it's not so much that we've been like bad people and we've like done, I mean, you know, let me reframe this. It's not so much about like, look at what you've done wrong, can you admit that you've done something wrong? It's not about that at all. It's about transcending like these bonds with people that put us in a position where we have a tendency to really not express in our best way. It's about the bond. It's not about the expression, but the bond then triggers an expression, if that makes sense. So we've got to really, I think, get more lighthearted, more fiery, more creative, more funny, more optimistic, and not get caught in the treacherous waters that Cancer season can really bring on if we are very uncorrelated through the past. So anyway, Libra, let's talk more about that in your extended reading. Let's talk about overcoming the past. Let's talk about creative solutions to some of these overdone situations. You can click the center of your screen now to get your extended reading on Patreon. And also on Patreon, you can get all the other readings early, ad-free, and extended. And I do weekly forecasts as well that are only over there. So it's a really great value. And I hope to see you guys over on Patreon. Your likes, comments, and subscribes here on YouTube make my day. Let's go do that reading now. Much love. Bye.